We're at the point in the season where we've seen enough basketball be played to know what each team is good at, where they struggle, and what they can do to improve. Some teams are sitting pretty with what they have and don't really need to concern themselves with trade rumors and the open market, but others are in desperate need of a change, and that's what Bleacher Report has been focusing on in some of their recent articles. I'm going to be going through the 4 trade proposals from these articles that I found the most intriguing, and we'll be analyzing whether or not the deals are realistic, why or why not the teams involved in them would want to go through with it, and who benefits the most from them. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I'd also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first proposal from the articles is between the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons, and in it the Pistons receive DeMar DeRozan in exchange for Joe Harris, Killian Hayes, and a lightly protected first-round pick. I won't lie, they're starting things off with a pretty strange deal that I'm not totally sure if I see the logic behind it. The Pistons are arguably the most disappointing team in the NBA this year, losing 24 games in a row, and sitting in last place in the standings, despite entering the year with plans to make a run at the play-in tournament spots. They have pieces that have shown potential early on in their careers, but the fit between all of them on the court at the same time seems more questionable than ever. They need something though, I just can't figure out what realistically that thing could be, but I know for sure that DeRozan would not be the piece that turns anything around for them. Do they need more veteran presence in their locker room? Yeah, they definitely do. Do they also need more scoring in their lineup due to the fact that they are currently a group ranked in the bottom 3 of the league on offense? Also, yes, they definitely do. However, thinking about those two things and then circling DeRozan as the savior is a very simplistic point of view. While yes, DeRozan is definitely still a solid and capable scoring threat on the wing, he's still not much of a three-point shooter, and one of the most glaring problems with this Pistons team is their inability to space the floor. Another issue I have with this pairing is the fact that DeRozan is on an expiring contract right now, and I don't see any benefit to having him finish the season as a Piston when in all likelihood he is going to bolt for greener pastures in the offseason when he is a free agent. If the Pistons are going to make a trade, they need to do so with a long-term solution in mind, and DeRozan would be nothing more than a rental in an already lost season. The next trade proposed in the articles is between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Utah Jazz, and in it the Thunder receive Lauri Markkanen in exchange for Davis Bertans, Ousmane Dieng, and 4 first-round picks. Look, when the Jazz flipped Rudy Gobert for 4 first-round picks a few off-seasons ago, they arguably ruined the trade market for the rest of the league, so while you may look at this trade and think that it's way too much draft capital to give up for Markkanen, the reality is that the price is going to be set that high regardless, and reports coming out of Utah are backing up the fact that this is in fact his price tag if they want to make him available. There obviously aren't many teams willing to cough that much up in an offer, but if there's one team that could easily pull this off, it is the Thunder, with that massive treasure chest of assets they have at their disposal. The Thunder are a lot better than even the most optimistic fans could have imagined them being this season, currently sitting in 2nd place in the West, and with championship contention now looking like a more realistic goal than ever for them, the time to strike is now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is one of the best scorers in the whole league, Chet Holmgren has done an outstanding job shoring up their defense, Jalen Williams is a very versatile and well-rounded wing player, they've got tons of shooting and defensive help throughout the rotation, but the power forward spot could definitely be improved upon, and Markkanen is a match made in heaven for them. He's an elite shooter of the basketball who can handle secondary shot creation duties without getting in the way of those around him, and he would make the Thunder a genuinely scary team to have to face in a 7-game series. Markkanen makes quick decisions with the ball within the flow of the offense, he gets up a lot of threes and knocks them down efficiently, and his presence on the floor would give the Thunder even more overwhelming size, so I'm all about this deal going through. The next proposal from the articles is between the Golden State Warriors and the Chicago Bulls, where the Warriors receive Alex Caruso and Nikola Vucevic in exchange for Chris Paul and 2 first-round picks. The Bulls seem to be on the verge of blowing things up and rebuilding, and the Warriors are starting to approach disaster territory in their season in desperate need of a spark. That makes for a pretty intriguing collaboration on a trade, but the value has to be right to bring one into fruition. When I look at this deal, I see the Warriors getting everything they need to turn things around by giving up pennies on the dollar. When it comes to players that are viewed as attainable on the trade market, Alex Caruso is one of the non-star players held in highest regard as a two-way guard who provides absolute lockdown defense to the table while also spacing the floor as an above-average shooter. He's a capable ball handler and someone that does all of the little things that winning teams love. He alone might attract offers featuring multiple draft picks, so the fact that the Warriors would be getting him and Nikola Vucevic here is where the deal becomes a bit lopsided. The Warriors have a real issue with their front court size and depth, and Vucevic could come in as a highly skilled center with a proven track record for being one of the better passing big men, and he could fit in very well with what the Warriors like to do on offense. The problem is that Chris Paul is a shell of his former self and not moving the needle like he used to, so the Bulls won't be that enthralled to get him back as the headliner. This is an offer I could easily see other teams being able to beat, so even though the Warriors would love for it to happen, I don't think it's very likely. And finally, the last trade we'll be discussing from the articles is between the Atlanta Hawks and the Toronto Raptors, and in it the Hawks receive Pascal Siakam in exchange for Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter, AJ Griffin, and a first-round pick. The Hawks have been connected to Pascal Siakam for a while now as a potential suitor in a trade, and the feeling is that eventually a deal will get done, but how soon and for what is still up in the air. This is actually pretty reasonable framework, and it would at the very least be a good place for the negotiations to begin. The Hawks want to play fast with their two playmaking guards, and Siakam has always been a versatile forward that has excelled in transition as someone who can grab the rebound and immediately push the pace on the break as a ball handler and playmaker. For the Raptors, DeAndre Hunter is a solid 3-and-D wing on the rise they could bring into the mix, Clint Capella still has a good bit left in the tank as a rebounder and shot blocker, and the first-round pick that far in the future could end up becoming very valuable, but I think they would need to add one more piece, whether that be a player or another draft pick, to get this deal over the edge. Siakam may be on the last year of his current contract, but he's still one of the best power forwards in the NBA, and the Raptors have become known for their stinginess in trade discussions, so while many of you might see this trade as a fair deal, you have to consider the front office that we're talking about here. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the trades proposed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.